Been working on this painting. It's an oil collage, a painting that I'm rebooting or working on, I'd say, like correctively. And these are components of old paintings inserted into this shape composition of this somewhat harbor scene of the boats and the bird. Pretty standard of what one sees out here, except this way of making the collage kind of makes the surface more sculptural and gives it some body, and by cutting out these shapes, it can do something beyond what just painting on canvas directly does.
Megan is really an important person in the community and for art.
Consistently, her work interests me. I want to look at it. I want to sort of see it.
I have all these scraps of paintings now that I love, cut out from other paintings, from old paintings that looks like a figure. But they're like, they're cut out marks, essentially. And these might, be incorporated into other works. But for this painting, I'm going to use this old painting that I rejected. So I'm interested in the idea of collage as a rejection of material to reboot or reuse material. And so I'm cutting out that shape that might go back into this painting.
She's a very sensitive being in her work and in the world, and very sincere. And I think when you work with her, she shows up. She's present and she's committed. And so it makes you have to be your best self to be around her. And you don't know it's happening. It just, the interactions feel good. And as a result, the work feels good. And talking about her feels good, and it's contagious to share.
I think it's really important for kids to have artist role models who are working artists, who are very comfortable with themselves, and Megan models that.
As someone who doesn't have children, how important it was for me to be around youngsters who, in some cases, really needed art to thrive in a better way in their lives.
She taught the middle school group for many years, and it was really cool to see how, in the same way that she creates even a temporary artist community in her adult education workshops, she does the same thing with like 12 to 14-year-olds, where she really meets people where they're at and makes these kids feel like they're legitimate artists, which they are.
I think her practice, she's very serious about her practice, and her life is the same as her practice to me. The way she navigates her life and the way she treats others and the way she moves about the world and the way she works on her work is, to me, very similar. And I think that's one of the things that makes her work so magical and authentic, because it's seamless. So she can cross over into new projects and it doesn't feel jarring, or it just feels like a new adventure with her.
Megan's pretty fearless about not being afraid to try something.
Megan's work is so idiosyncratic and personal and poetic, and then at the same time, there's multiple threads that relate quite directly to other artists, other ways of making, historical ways of making.
Paintings start to have a lot of material on it, which I really like. As with all painting and making work, there's a lot of looking involved. And this is where I feel like I become more of a designer of space. It's kind of interesting. I'll leave it like that for a little bit. As someone who's showing in Provincetown and at PAAM, working and helping and being in the community of the museum, you just are you're in the legacy, right? You're just in it. And it's important to me, but it's also really important to me to see how I push beyond it. And then I'll still stay in it, but how my work pushes beyond it.